One stupid. It's doing the stupid thing, resolution.
Oh, do I have to change that again?
Yeah, but it's not telling me what it needs to change to. But according to the thing, it's still working. So, is my apologies, everybody. Welcome everybody to the Toku Portal podcast for the Roundtable 22, Miraculous Ladybug and Cat Noir.
Season
I am
3.
bashing season 3 because I put in the wrong season, didn't I?
Did you? You just didn't say it.
Yeah, I typed in the season 4 instead of season 3, so I will
Oh,
fix that in the video
please do.
description.
We'll change that later. We'll change it and fix it in post.
But I am Vashi V, and joining me today is.
Rye?
Pixie Cat.
Alright. So it's been a while. We were going to do this earlier, but life got in the way. So we're a little late to the party here, but here we are. Miraculous Ladybug Season 3. We've got a lot of ground to cover. Uh, First item on the docket, though, would be the new temporary heroes that were introduced in this season. There are 5 of them. Why don't we start with uh, Pegasus? Max Kanye gets the Horse Miraculous, which gives him the power of teleportation. What do you guys think about this?
The episode
It,
had happened. Go ahead, Pixie.
it doesn't really make sense to me with the miraculous being for a horse, and then it turns out it's a Pegasus, and somehow
Okay.
Pegasus can teleport.
So, to clarify, he is the horse. His superhero name is Pegasus. That is just what he decided to call himself.
Yeah, still a little confusing, but more confusing to me is the fact that the power is teleportation, which has nothing to do with horses.
Actually, horses are all about transportation, getting from one place to another.
I guess you could justify that. It would make more sense to me if it was for a rabbit instead,
Why is that?
because rabbit holes. They could rabbit hole through time and space.
But that's exactly what we have. The rabbit jumps through time.
Yeah, but that's for the rabbit. This is for a horse.
Yeah,
So I would expect the horse miraculous to have something more to like speed, power, strength, something like that. But overall, it's not a bad one. I don't hate it by any stretch of the means. I still think it's a neat power up. Just very interesting they decided to give teleportation to the horse. And it does come in handy, so as we have seen throughout this season, it is very useful. But overall, it's not one of my favorites.
Vashi?
Like, I liked it in the episode. It correctly debuted and wasn't a bad one. For me, this was just a matter of, hey, where did all of this crap happen? Because, Netflix and everything is all out of order and wonky and crap.
Netflix put them in the order that they aired in because that's what they were told to do.
Even though that's wrong.
Yeah, no, season 1 they tried putting them in production code order and were told not to do that. They were told, no, put those in the order we aired them in. So that's what they've been doing. This is the result.
Which I get, because they're basically making anybody who watches on Netflix to watch it the same way as anybody who watched it when it aired. Makes sense, but it does...
Not when there's continuity.
Yeah, continuity is a bitch. So this series did decide to throw some continuity right out the fucking window, so what the fuck's it matter?
So, how do you guys feel about Max specifically getting the horse?
I'm okay with it. I mean, it had to go to somebody, and all of our favorite friends already have one, so
And,
I don't have no hate for Max. I think he made good use of it.
and of course, the nerdy guy gets the power of teleportation.
Does that make sense though?
Look at almost any high tech nerd show, it all has the powers of teleportation in it somehow. Like any nerd show that involves technology on a high level. So Star Trek, Star Wars. Well, not really. Well, no, Star Wars included that crap in the last movie.
Oh wow.
Uh, yeah, that was what the fuck. But uh, like Stargate, Babylon 5, there's some sort of teleportation, transport, whatever doohickey. So it does kind of fit.
I guess I see where you're coming from because otherwise I see no actual connection between Max and his Miraculous. His character has nothing to do with horses, and his character has nothing to do with travel or teleportation or portals or anything like that.
I
So,
think the closest thing that we can do the whole transportation thing is the connection to his mother.
yeah, but like introducing that in the episode, it's
Right.
gross.
We already have three comments. Mohammed Faiz Daniel. Season 4 is not coming for God knows when. Yep. 'Cause I screwed up.
Yeah, no, the title is a mistake. Ignore that. We're talking about
I
season 3.
screwed that up. Um, which I fixed it on my end. Hopefully that did fix it for everybody else who comes and joins in.
Yeah, if you refresh, it might fix it.
Hopefully soon. By the way, love Miraculous so much, so this is up my alley. And then, do you see how? I'm going to assume that there's supposed to be a how in this. Do you see how Miraculous can be adapted into live action tokusatsu effectively?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, given the fact that 90% of what we watch collectively as a group is Kamen Rider and Super Sentai, this is not a far stretch from it.
Like, this could literally just be a Sentai season.
Right.
Uh, with less giant robots. Or more. Um, but yeah, like I was saying, like I guess the like nerdy sci-fi culture has to be the explanation because otherwise Max doesn't resonate with his Miraculous at all.
The only other explanation would be character design versus, miraculous design.
Okay, speaking of character design, how come Pegasus looks like Morpheus?
Yeah, that um I guess that was the only I guess that was the only badass black character that the creators could identify with.
Yeah, I
Like,
got total Matrix vibes off of that.
like he straight up looks like he's about to wake up people from the Matrix.
And yes, I'm showing my age there. Sorry, youngins.
Uh,
He totally looks like the Matrix character. Just stepped out of the Matrix right into Miraculous.
yeah, I mean, and it's literally what it looks like. We also have a comment. Any expectation for the Miraculous movie?
No.
They're making a
No,
movie?
Yes, they are.
we're completely blindsided by what's going to happen with this movie. There's not much out about it other than a few teaser art and a small trailer.
Based on the teaser art, it looks like it could be a retelling of their origin story. But other than that, we have nothing. Whatever it is,
that.
it's not going to be canon.
So it's
You
going to
didn't
stay.
really miss much. It was pretty much all artwork that we've seen before, just kind of streamed together with some music. They didn't hint towards anything. You didn't really see anything that you haven't already seen. So I have no expectations on this other than, like Rye
Yeah.
said, it's going to be a retelling of their origin.
So
Perhaps they didn't like how they did it in the TV show, so
so
they're going to do it the right way with a movie.
well, so from what I heard, Jeremy Zag is taking charge of the movie because he and Thomas Astruc have creative differences. So Zag is going to be allowed to do what he wants with the movie, but whatever it is, it's not canon.
Oh no, it's going to be Star Wars all over again.
So it's pretty much just like every other
Disney versus
tokusatsu.
Lucas.
So it's pretty much just gonna be like every other tokusatsu movie we've ever watched.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah, aside from like maybe five.
Um, okay, so moving on with our character discussion, the next hero is King Mucky, uh, Kim's superhero identity as the monkey, which gives him the power of chaos, and he can just straight up disrupt the power of anyone else that he throws his banana at and throw it into disarray. And I have to say, I'm incredibly impressed with how well it fits. It's one of the
Yeah, it
most
does.
it is one of the most fitting like combinations we've gotten.
Spot on. Love it.
Like, because Kim's always come across as kind of like brain dead goofball.
The class clown.
So yeah, it fits perfectly that his power would basically be Son Goku or Sun
Or
Wukong.
That like he's
Sun
like
Wukong for
he's like he's very chaotic himself and like
he's the Monkey King.
yeah, like and just always kind of like you remember that time he wanted to race a panther?
he's the dumb jock. So I mean, it's one of the few that's 100% spot on.
And then we have oh, hold on. I'm forgetting someone here. Bunnix. Okay, remembered. Now we have Ryuko, Kagami using the Dragon Miraculous. And her special power is that she has 3 different forms, all based around storms in the weather.
No, it's based on elements, but I
They're,
felt this was a little too much on the nose.
what, that the Asian one is a dragon?
Yeah, that the Asian one gets the dragon samurai power up and it controls the elements, all of which are his Asian folklore themed. I feel like this one was just too much on the face.
Like,
I mean, I'm glad that she got something, but I just didn't really like that episode. I didn't like how it went down with the whole, again, Asian tiger mother, rebellious daughter, just wanting to have normal life and having to fight for it. Also, she
like
didn't listen to her miraculous.
I mean, how many of them actually did?
A few.
Most of them
They
had
didn't all
Ladybug.
just take it and shove them away.
Most of them had Ladybug there to explain everything for right directly to them. Kagami was just being impatient.
Right. Um, ignoring the whole, race issue on that one. It still makes sense that the samurai warrior one, um, would go to the person trained in fencing and kendo. It
And
makes
I
sense
understand that.
and as much as it is also kind of an issue of race, that type of lifestyle, the whole tiger mom thing, it's still very much a thing in Asia that kids deal with. So it's while it can be construed as, oh well, this show's being racist, it's still look like a legitimate issue that young kids have.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's not by any stretch of the means. I mean, we see that in a lot of cultures today. But it was just a little too much. Like as soon as they you knew it was that, you knew who it was going to go to. And at the same time, it's like, well, who else would you give it to? There's not an answer for that because it's either Adrian or her, and Adrian's already Cat Noir.
I mean, just going off of the fact that, like, yes, the sword fencing miraculous goes to the person who's experienced in sword fencing. That alone is like,
Right.
all right, that's a good choice.
Right.
But
And I agree with that. It was a lot altogether that, oh, well, we're going to do an Asian themed miraculous with an Asian themed Kwame, and we're going to give it to the Asian girl.
Okay,
Just a little too much there. But again, like you said, it makes sense that it would go to the person who is actually experienced in kendo and fencing and all that.
you said Asian themed Kwame, but like we're literally dealing with the 12 Chinese zodiac.
I know, but I mean, the dragon, I mean, how it doesn't get much more than that.
I'm going to come back to Five Daniel's comment a little bit later, so that way we can stay on topic. But another comment from Stella Weaver who says Kim listened hilariously enough.
Yeah, Kim actually listened to what he was supposed to do, and did it, as opposed to Kagami, who ignored her Kwame mid sentence.
Yeah, like she didn't even let him talk. It's just, oh, cool, I got this is what I'm doing. And he's like, no, no, wait, there's a plan, stop. And she's just like, nope.
Fuck the plan.
So moving on to uh, everyone's favorite guitar boy with no eyelashes, Luca, Viperian the snake, with the power with
Luca.
with possibly the most broken power we've seen in this show. He has the power to give himself save states.
Uh, on a side note, Stella Weaver says, to be fair, you could say the same about Kim, also an Asian character who was given the Monkey King.
Is he Asian?
Yeah, Kim
Yeah,
is Asian.
he's a
Uh,
is he Korean or Taiwanese?
I
okay.
don't know. I don't remember when they introduced that, or when they said that, if they said that.
I just didn't see it as much in his character as you overly see in Kagami's.
Like,
But yeah, I agreed. It could still be the same problem with that too. But I felt it was better handled with Kim as
Oh,
opposed to
he's
Kagami.
Vietnamese. I was completely wrong.
But overall, I still feel that it was better handled with Kim than it was Kagami. It wasn't as blatant.
as for Luca,
Anyways,
Mo-
back to Luca.
Back to how broken the snake miraculous is. So, when you're an adult, you can use your powers an infinite number of times with no timeout, because the wizard who created these put a safety feature so that kids, when they use them, can't just abuse their power. So kids can use them once and time out after a few minutes. I assumed that when he like resets and does his second chance, that like the time spent would carry over. It does not. He has like if he has 5 minutes, he has those 5 minutes an infinite number of times.
as long as he resets it before the end of the 5 minutes.
Right, so long as he resets it before he transforms back, where it'll wipe the save state.
Which is, and the way that they showed us how broken this was giving it to Cat Noir first.
Yeah, no, he spent like months trying to rescue Ladybug, using that miraculous, and like in one of the timelines, he tries to tell her who he is, and I can't go accept the idea that he failed to tell her every single time, that there wasn't a single time where he didn't manage to do it.
We'll get into this later because I have a whole hate boner on this.
Yeah,
Desperado.
she's got a hate boner on that whole aspect of the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry in advance. But as far as Luca and the snake, I think it works very well for Luca to have this, just based off of his personality, his character development. It makes sense that he would have the snake miraculous. It's interesting the snake miraculous has this power. Because again, a snake could have also done the teleportation thing too.
I thought that he was going to be hypnotism, actually.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a hypnotism. Like, oh, cool, this is going to be awesome. And then it's like, no, it adjusts time. I'm like, that's another one that makes no sense.
Especially since
But
his
okay.
weapon is a liar. Like, I thought we were going to get some kind of, like, Pied Piper kind of thing.
Hmm.
So here's my reasoning
Okay.
for why it's time, and it does make sense. Is basically the whole one of the infinity symbols is a snake eating its own tail.
Ouroboros.
Yeah, which is literally his little thingy. It's a snake eating its own tail because it's a bracelet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Beyond that, yeah, no, doesn't make sense.
But again, with Adrian taking it, I felt that was just bad all around that he even let himself take it at first. Because then you have the whole wasted time of Cat Noir disappears, Adrian appears, Cat Noir disappears, Adrian appears, Adrian disappears, here's Cat Noir. Just over and over and over again. And it took like what, over 1,000 different times before he finally admitted, yeah, this ain't gonna work with me. I need to give it to somebody else. I need to not accept this. I think that would have been evident after the first 10 times, where in each time somebody almost died
Almost.
or did. We don't know. Because he rewinds as soon as it goes bad.
So. So we move on to the last one, Bunnix, Alex's future superhero identity. Because the Rabbit Miraculous is the power of time travel. A different time
Which
travel, though. We have two time traveling Miraculous that work differently.
I will say that I love the Bunnix. I love the Bunnix Miraculous. I love the idea that it's her future self because realistically, right now, she is a child.
Uh,
So she would be no help at all right
uh,
in this moment.
I don't believe that. Alex has proven multiple times she could be a hero without a Miraculous in different ways that she's just helped Ladybug throughout the show. Like, if anyone deserves a Miraculous, it's her.
Oh yeah, she
I,
definitely deserves it, but there's still the whole conflict over her being so young in the present.
I
If
think
Like,
she
that.
were to
she's
get
the
hurt, it
same
would
age
be
as
really bad.
Marinette.
No,
So
she's not. She's like
yeah,
a
she is.
child.
Well,
No,
they're in the
wrong.
same grade.
You're thinking of somebody else. Um, Bunnix is
Is Alex.
what, Alex, the one who
The
was
skater girl with red hair?
yeah,
Who do you think we're
that one.
talking about?
It's not
I think
Isla's.
I'm
It's not.
confused.
I think you're thinking of
you
I
Isla's
could do
little
this
Are you
so
sister.
much better if
thinking?
I could actually see the characters.
Are you
I
thinking?
want to try to pull up the characters because I'm confused.
Yeah, no, I think you're thinking of someone
I'm
completely
thinking,
different.
but I think
Um,
it was her because she said like in the future I'm going to be so cool, and then she'd try and work back to the present. Well, her present.
But, like, she's literally in the same class as Marinette.
but yeah,
Hmm.
I think
Like,
Pixie is thinking of the kid that
Marinette
Marinette
babysit
babysits.
Manon.
Oh God, no! I hate that little guy. Sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, no, Alex is just
No, this
shorter
is a
than the
little
rest.
girl.
Alex is shorter than the rest of her class, but she's the same age as them.
Wow, I totally thought she was a completely different.
I, the idea of Bunnix not having her power as a kid still does make sense, though, in the aspect of
The power of time travel is super fucking dangerous.
yeah, and you don't necessarily want a child to know that much about the future.
Well, here's the
With
thing, though. Alex can
as
keep a secret,
emotional as they are,
right? Um,
with as emotional as they are, she just it her having that power now could create a conflict of her trying to fix something that she shouldn't fix.
which would be a good introductory episode for her actually getting her miraculous. But I think we're gonna get something more along the lines of like Ladybug gives it to her and is like, "All right, I need you to jump like either 5 minutes before now or 5 minutes after now," kind of thing.
Right. Like
Like some
kind of
like
basically how they did it with the uh with her coming back the first time, because this is the second time she's shown up.
right, just like something super limited of like, yeah, I just need you to be in a certain spot at a certain time. So use your time travel to make sure you're there.
And don't forget to put the colander on your head.
The what?
The colander, the metal pot that she puts on Marinette's head to keep Marinette from seeing the future.
Yeah,
Oh,
she puts a pot over her head.
yeah, no,
Yeah, I think I was thinking of a side character in that episode. Because there's like a little kid or something in that episode. But I may just be completely full of crap. However, can we talk about her costume?
Bunnix's costume. Yeah, it's
Anyways.
great.
It's one of the best.
It is the best.
What?
But overall, it's just one of those like I still kind of want to see how she gets it, and I don't necessarily care when she gets it.
Sorry about the interruption. But I just wanted to say that I love Bunnick's costume. It's very Alice in Wonderland esque with the blue and the white and tying in the time traveling rabbit.
Yep. And I believe her power when she activates is called Burrow.
Mm-hmm. Again, very well thought out and tied into both her Kwame and her.
And what makes her an appropriate user for the rabbit is that we find out she can keep a secret. My only issue is that we find this out because Bunnix tells this to Ladybug. Like, Ladybug hasn't even gotten a chance to figure it out for herself, and we, the audience, haven't been shown that Alex is capable of keeping a secret. So it's not ideal. Kind of a show don't tell thing. And going off of that though, like that's not the only thing. Bunnix even tells Ladybug how she's going to like start her own team in the future, but I feel like she shouldn't be saying these things. I feel like Ladybug should come to these decisions on her own first, and then Bunnix can just confirm they're like, oh yeah, you totally do that.
Or even just with Bonus going, yeah, that's totally a good idea. You should
Yeah,
do that.
that's one part that was a big issue for me because at the very start of Bunnix appearing, you find out that she's not allowed to say anything about the future because it could change the future as we've seen.
Right.
So the fact that she's been able to reveal some things of the future doesn't line up with the whole you can't tell them about the future.
Like,
You
I guess
shouldn't be able to reveal some things about it and have no consequences, but reveal other seemingly minor things and it has huge consequences.
yeah, I
I
guess
felt that was just inconsistent.
you've been watching Kamen Rider Den-O, so it's kind of like that scenario of like, yeah, you're making minor changes that don't actually change how history progresses. Of like, yeah, telling Ladybug she's going to do this isn't going to stop her from doing it. Like, and if anything, it'll encourage her.
But still. But again, I agree with you. Like, we haven't really seen much out of this character.
Mm.
So it is kind of disappointing that she has such a strong and powerful Miraculous, and we really don't really know her that well.
Unfortunately, that can be said about pretty much any of the classmates aside from Chloe. I don't even feel like we know Nino that well.
And unfortunately, we know Chloe too well.
Ugh.
Yeah, we know Chloe and her little sidekick fangirl too well. I feel we both know their characters very well. I have to argue with Nino. I feel like we do know Nino's character pretty well. There's not much there. He's a
That,
gamer.
that
He's a
that
nerd. He's in love with
that's
what's her
kind of my
name?
problem though, Alia. Um, is that like they're all just kind of one dimensional and like occasionally they might show more personality than that, but not often and not enough.
Yeah.
Like
You
when
have
Nino,
very one-dimensional characters, and then you have these other characters who have more dimensions to them, but we only see them like once in a while.
like Nino when he became Carapace, like all right, that episode he had a desire to like protect Alia because he wanted to prove that he could protect her. But that is the only time that has ever come up.
Yeah, but in all the other episodes, you see them together. They're obviously in love and a couple. And then when they both, in the one episode where they both transform in front of each other, he's like, "Whoa, you're her?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, and she's like, "I knew you were him."
A
They had
plot
already
line
figured
that
out each other.
no, she figured him out. He was surprised to see her, and I feel like they could have done more
But
with that.
every time you've seen them fight together, it's kind of just given off a they already know who's who.
What it?
Well,
Like
it's
when
always
you
come across that that Alia knew who he was.
Yeah, like Alia figures out who he is in his debut episode as Carapace, and then the next time either of them transform, they immediately know who each other are because they do it in front of each other. So anytime they fight together after that, and they do already know who each other is. What I'm saying is that like Alia knew who he was. He didn't know who she was until that actual reveal happened, and I feel like they could have done more with it leading up to that.
oh yeah, they could have done a lot more storyline with it, but just from what I've seen in the episodes, it just comes across like they already know each other and who each other is, and
Mm.
they always just fight together,
Well,
even
like
before they
okay,
knew.
Mm,
So it's just kind of that wasn't
okay,
really handled very well, I don't think.
okay. So
It's like in the fights, it's always him and her
they don't
off together.
fight together until they already know who each other is what I'm saying. Like anytime they become Reina Rouge and Carapace together and fight together, they already knew who each other was at that point.
Yeah, but I'm saying before they knew
Before
the
they
way the
That,
knew,
that's
episodes
the
have
thing. They
handled
did.
it,
they
They
before
it portrayed like they did.
no
They didn't
because
handle that very well.
before they found confirmed each other like uh Nino gets his miraculous and that's at the end of that same episode Alia figures out that's him, but he never knew it was her. And we actually never see Nino in an episode with Reina Rouge until he finds out that it's her. Well,
That could be a production code issue. Depends on how it was aired on um, Netflix.
yeah, like I'm thinking that like maybe like depending on how the order of the episodes aired, like this could be confusing, but yeah, no. That, God, I don't know what goes on with like the production schedule or something, but like the way they're airing episodes is really messed up, and I have no idea what goes on behind that, but it is baffling how off the mark they are.
Right,
Yeah,
considering
because
the
I
fact that
watched it on TV, like back when it was still being aired on actual TV, and they were fighting together before
yeah, it's because they
they
aired them
knew
out
each
of
other.
it's
Mm,
because they aired them out of order.
yeah, no.
Um,
They find out about each other at the very end of season 2, and then they start fighting together during season 3.
but like one of the
Yeah, the airing schedule must have been way messed up because
Yeah,
I remember in season 2 there were fights where they were both there together.
that only happened during the season 2 finale.
Mm.
And when
Yeah,
but
and
like
that
good
was
airing error.
but like with just with even season three that it's aired way the hell out of order considering
Oh, season 3 was a
first
disaster.
yeah.
one of the
So
first major fights you get is Kim's reveal, and in that Max and
Luca,
Luca are already on the team and literally pop up transform, and it's like,
when
what
did
the
that
hell did I
happen?
miss?
Right. It's
Mhm.
like that episode in particular is a perfect example of like you had to push this out as soon as it was ready. You couldn't have sat on this one until it all would have made sense already.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's the
season
thing.
3 was a disaster when it came to airing, and
Like
depending on how you were able to
so
watch, it
so
was even more messed up.
so
Netflix is
seasons
really bad.
seasons 1 and 2, again, it's not Netflix's fault. They're being told to put them in this order.
Right.
But yeah, seasons 1 and 2 were equal disasters in terms of their airing schedule and like production code. The thing is that in those seasons it didn't matter. Season 1 had almost no continuity, and season 2 had little enough that it wasn't that big a deal. You wouldn't notice. Season 3 is where it mattered, and
Right,
And that's why
that
I'm just saying that depending on where you're watching it, because this is being aired from what I've shown on Disney in some places, Nickelodeon and others, and Netflix and others. So depending on what you're watching it on and where depends on what you've seen and how badly out of order it was. And again, it's not Netflix's fault because they're being told they have to show it this way. But Netflix, it seems, is because they were told to do it that way, it's the worst out of the three. There's a lot more mix up with the episodes and whatnot because they're having to show it the way it was aired instead of the production code. So
so
Netflix struggled this year with it because I was watching it on Netflix and there were episodes in the beginning of the first part of season 3 we got
that should have been
that
in the
were the
second
last
part.
episodes.
so seasons 1 and 2, you could shuffle around the episodes a bit and watch them in almost any order, and it would mostly be fine. Outside of a few specific ones that like these have to take place at a certain time. Season 3 though, like you have to look up the production codes and watch them in that order.
Hmm.
And like
And
And if you
it
don't know that, then it
like
kind of ruined it. Go ahead, Batchy.
um and that's one of those things where this is where this particular show gets in trouble in terms of a foreign audience, because the people in France where this is made, they know how this is coming out, they know it's not in order, and they have very easy ways of getting the correct order. Most likely when they re-air the season, they most likely put it up in the right order. Same thing with their DVDs, are probably in the correct production code order. Whereas what foreign countries get is just have fucking fun with this.
what order did they air on Nickelodeon? Go with that.
It looks like Nickelodeon pretty much airs them close to production code. It's not exact. A few of the episodes are off, but not as much as Netflix.
Um, so
And I think that falls down to their user agreements and what kind of legalities they have had to agree to have these episodes.
I don't know. I don't know how that works.
It's a bunch of legality mumbo jumbo.
But we can all agree Netflix fucked up.
Not,
No,
yeah,
Netflix did not fuck
Well,
up. They are doing
in
what
the
they were
aspect
told
of
to do. They wanted
right.
to put them in production code order, and were told they are not allowed to. It's not Netflix's fault.
In terms of like the whole contract negotiation, the only reason why I say Netflix fucked up is because Netflix didn't fight enough to get it to be in production code order, which not necessarily their fault because yes, the production company that made it went no fuck you, air it how we tell you to air it, but they're not the head, but then you have like Nickelodeon and whatever other channels are airing
Disney.
this that are literally putting them in in order because that's how their contract got negotiated. Netflix didn't negotiate hard as Nickelodeon and Disney.
Flip these agreements around and pay out more to be able to say, well, this is how we want to do it. We'll give you this much money for you to agree to let us do it that way. And unfortunately, Netflix is smarter in that they don't waste money on meaningless contracts to get
Honestly,
it to be in production code. They
honestly, I,
spend their money more wisely on making their own series good.
I, I don't. It is baffling to me that that is a thing they would have to go through just to air the episodes in the correct order.
Oh yeah,
I
it's ridiculous,
I
but it's
cannot
what
believe
happens.
that.
The same thing happened with Disney and George Lucas when they bought out Star Wars.
When they like wiped all of the extended universe continuity and it's like nope, none of this is canon.
Yep, they were able to pay him off.
Hey Vashi, where were you when all of the best Star Wars novels became not canon?
Not caring about Star Wars.
Okay.
But
I
yeah,
mean,
it all comes down to stupid legal lawyers and contract arguments and money being thrown back and forth.
So
So, anyways, we were talking about Luca and Trick and
Bunnix.
Bunnick.
Um,
So, who else did we have this year?
those
This season?
are all the five new heroes. Um, we talked a bit about how Adrian temporarily used the Snake Miraculous, and then Marinette temporarily uses the Mouse Miraculous and becomes Multi Mouse.
Right.
And
oh well. To be
All
fair,
right.
she used all
Multi
of
Mouse.
them.
I was about to say, and her special power of the mouse is to shrink down in size and multiply into a dozen or so copies of herself, wherein she just grabbed all of the miraculous at once. I have to
Way to go,
say,
Marinette.
no, Kwame Buster is a really good episode. Like, it is one of the better episodes of season 3. I really liked it. But it just goes to show that Marinette could do all of this by herself if she was allowed to.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
Because she literally does it all by herself.
it makes you wonder why she needs Cat Noir.
Yep. I mean, the
Because
only
you
reasoning we've been given is because if she were to become akumatized, you would need Cat Noir to protect against that, to protect what miraculous are left. So it's just pretty much he's just kind of useless. He's just a check and balance system
Cat
in
Noir
the event that
exists.
something happens to Ladybug.
Not the worst, but one of the worst episodes of this season would be Where Dad, where
Oh god,
Marinette
yes, I hated that one.
gets captured in a like fairy tale esque manner of like, all right, princess in the tower kind of situation, and Cat Noir has to go and save her. And everything he does is inconsequential because Marinette saves herself without her powers.
Yeah.
Yep. But to be fair though, that all came about because, again, trying to hide the truth, she pretends to have a massive crush on Cat Noir as Marinette. Her parents know about this, and then he has to break up with her, air quotes, and which leads to the mess of Where Dad happening because then her dad flips
Like,
out and gets akumatized because his little girl is supposedly heartbroken, which she's really not. We know from in the episode, but he doesn't.
right, and like this was
This episode was a mess.
it was a good chance to show why Cat Noir is a necessary member of the team, why he is able to contribute, why he can help save the day if he needs to step up. And he didn't get to do any of that.
Yep.
He's basically literally there as a love interest.
The one good thing that came out of the episode is Plague being a little shitfug and telling Adrian to pursue both girls.
Yeah.
Well,
Gotta
I
love
think
Flag.
so. I have to ask because there's a time continuity issue on this. Doesn't that take place after Plague and Tiki meet and know that the other is
Yeah, Plague knows that Marinette is Ladybug, so he's
okay? Then
actually
it makes sense.
yeah, he's actually
He's
encouraging
actually going,
Adrian.
hey,
Yeah.
hey, yeah, that's who you want to be with. Come on, go for it.
Yeah, he's just being a little shitfuck about it. Because from Adrian's perspective,
Because
he's
again,
being
Adrian
told
and Marinette still don't know.
he's being told to play around.
And instead, Plague's actually being honest.
Flag.
Like, that's
I
the
actually
type
feel
of-
bad for
that's-
Flag.
That's the type of shit that, like, when this all finally does get revealed of they are who they are, where Plague can sit there and just go, "I told you." Or do you think I told you to take them both?
Speaking of
But
that,
will he do that or will he do the whole what? She's who?
no, Plague
Yay!
Plague is incapable of that. Plague cannot be sly at all, as we find out in Reflect All 2, where he straight up says to Marinette, "Wait, you're not Adrian." And if there wasn't that spell to prevent him
Oh.
from actually saying his name, he would have straight up blurted it out to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, I did love that episode when she became Cat Lady
Lady
or
Noir,
Lady Noir.
Mr.
Lady
Bug,
Noir.
and Lady Noir. And
Not Bugaboo.
again, though, that just shows that Marinette could do it all by herself if she was allowed to, because she does Cat Noir's job for him. Like, she plays his role as Ladybug for him by telling him what he's supposed to do with the Lucky Charm. And, like, she doesn't need any guidance from him at all. She already knows how, as the, like, Cat Miraculous mastered somehow.
I love that though. It was so funny seeing them trying to figure out each other's tools.
Well, that's my point, though, is that Adrian was trying to figure it out. Marinette wasn't. She already knew. Marinette's
Yep,
too perfect.
which is hilarious. Which is, again, even more of an issue with the fact that when she's not Ladybug, she's such a ditz.
Like, confidence of anonymity.
So that's all that. Alright,
Um,
oh, that's cool. Did you do that?
no, that was
No.
Oh.
that was artwork that he commissions to various artists
Oh.
around the world. He commissions special pieces through a ton of different artists, and they paint them up, give them to him, and he sells them at cons.
That's cool.
Like, that is the sole purpose of those, is for him to sell at cons.
Yeah, he pays the artists for their work, and then you can buy it and have him autograph it. So
Estella
since Vashy's Hawkmoth, I'm going to be Adrian.
Estella Weaver says a bunch of this season was Adrian needs to grow up. and also let shit all over Adrian.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it
and
was.
then
This was a love and hate Adrian.
and then the fact that Marinette is a Mary Sue with social anxiety problems.
All right. S-
Yeah.
God. So you said there was another comment you wanted to get back to later. Why don't we get that to it now?
It wasn't a Kwame, it was the hate boner for the storyline.
Like,
The Bunnick storyline.
oh,
Because
uh,
there's a hate boner there from
so
Pixie.
so my roommate is listening in on this, and I just heard her laugh when you said that.
I mean, it is a hate boner. Hey, Pixie,
Oh, yes.
let's
Do
get
we really
to
want to go into this?
yes, we do.
I might get
Let's
akumatized if we talk about this.
uh
That's up to
what was
Vashi,
that
the
bad.
apparently.
what was the name of the episode?
Or
Oh,
describe
God,
it
you're
if you
gonna
don't.
make me.
Describe it, like who was the villain? What did they do?
The Cat Noir was the villain.
It was
Oh,
the
Cat Blanc?
finale.
No, Cat Blanc is
Yes.
not the finale.
Yeah, Cat Blanc.
Well, Cat Blanc and the finale episodes.
Okay, so alternate
So-
timeline, where actually, God, it's so weird. Okay, so technically an alternate timeline where Marinette accidentally reveals herself to Adrian because she fucked up
Well,
super
you gotta go
hard.
back. They started dating.
And then, yeah, no, Adrian immediately falls in love with Marinette because he knows she's Ladybug, even though he wasn't interested in her before. Creep. Uh, and the two of them work better knowing who each other is than they do as they currently are, as we've seen in this season. And then he reveals himself to her, and Natalie sees, and so Gabriel is just like, "Oh, my son is Cat Noir. I can manipulate him." And it's like, dude, fuck
Well, he
you.
also knows Marinette is Ladybug, and he manipulates her to break up with
No,
Adrian.
he doesn't know Marinette's Ladybug. He just wants to akumatize her because that's what he does. And so it's like, hey, if I make her break up with my son, that'll make her a target.
However, that
She-
backfires because he goes to
Mm.
save her to prevent her from being akumatized, turns into Cat Noir, reveals his identity, and then turns out that she's Ladybug, and it becomes a fuck fest
Yeah,
because
so-
she dies.
So cut to Hawkmoth laying a trap for them where he intentionally gets them to knock him into his secret lair where he's keeping Emily in her comatose or probably dead state. And Adrian finds out, oh my god, my dad is Hawkmoth. And Hawkmoth fucking uses that to akumatize him. And Adrian becomes so strong, because remember, his is the power of destruction. He fucking ends the world. And half the moon.
Because Marinette's gone.
all because he's very emo over the
No.
fact that he accidentally killed Ladybug and Hawkmoth.
He couldn't pick between them. He accidentally ended up killing them both and goes insane. And then we see a very sick and twisted, I love you story. But
So-
I'm going to hurt you if you don't do what I say.
So yeah, Bunnix has to come in from the future to get the present day Ladybug to make sure that that timeline doesn't occur.
Yeah, because it's the leading out all timelines.
Because that's the natural
I really
timeline.
hate this because one, we were promised back before the season aired that they would find out about each other and we would have the love story.
Which we got.
Once again, we got lied
And-
to. No,
no,
we did not get.
we got it in an alternate timeline.
That's not what
That-
we were promised.
So
They
if,
promised the fans that we would finally have the Ladybug Cat Noir love story,
like
and
if
that they would actually know who each other are and they would progress with it.
like
They
I,
did not do that. They gave us a shit timeline story, and I just I hate it. Like, I'm so mad at this right now. Like, I can care less if there's another season.
Oh yeah, no,
Like,
like
I'm ready to
it
quit
it
and go back
was
to reading.
like if you just want to
But
read like miraculous fan fiction, that's better than the show. Like my roommate can hook you up.
oh, I already know. But it's just really fucking annoying when you keep getting teased with this for every single season.
Yeah, like
And every season it does not happen, and instead it gets more fucked up.
at what
Because
point
now
is
we're
a
left
slow
with
burn
her
too slow?
having. But now it's to the point of where, like, he's with Kagami, she's with Luca, and she is completely destroyed and decimated, and just kind of like, why is it all on me? So I'm just going to lean on the first shoulder that comes to me and cry on it and go with that and try to force myself to be happy with this, which is Luca.
Okay,
Lucky Luca just happened to be there at that point.
I
I am
actually,
so disgusted and angry with all of this that
I,
I just can't. Like, I hate this storyline. I hate where they're going with this. I don't see how they can pull this back out of the gutter.
I am in support of Marinette being with Luca over Adrian.
I'm not, because they could have done a good storyline with her and Adrian being together and then fighting together like they were building with Master Fu, and then they ruined that too.
Like even going
So
off
I don't
of
think they're ever gonna
even
do
going
anything
off
they
of
say.
the alternate timeline where okay, you see them dating a bit, it's like all right, they make a really cute couple. They make a really cute high school couple that will not last in their 20s.
Right, but they could still give us the cute high school couple
But
love story who grow apart.
the thing about Luca is so the thing about Marinette being with Adrian is that she can't be with Adrian. She can't physically talk to the guy. She is a hopeless mess around him. Like you cannot have a meaningful
Right,
relationship with someone that you cannot
but
be
they have
comfortable
teased
around.
it.
But
They've done it so many times
She actually she gets that a little bit at first and then quickly overcomes it. She like
because she doesn't love
bonds with
him.
him. She bonds with him. She gets to know him. Like she
It's
opens up
friend
to
zone.
him and it allows herself to be weak in front of him when she lets herself cry from all the stress and pressure of her life.
And
She
realizing that
would
she's never going to be able to be with who she wants to be.
she would be better off with Luca than she would Adrian.
And I don't agree with that. I'm like so disgusted with this. I hate this so bad. Like, they have ruined this. I don't see how her and Luca would ever work out because she's being with him under a false pretense.
I
She's only being
disagree.
with him because she can't be with Adrian. And
See,
the whole being embarrassed and afraid of Adrian thing would be cured if Adrian was to pull his head out of his ass and say, I like you. Which they conveniently erase every single time that happens. We've
hate
had this done
boner.
like 10
I
times over, and every single time
like I
they
disagree.
erase it and say it didn't happen.
Luca was not her first choice, but that doesn't make him the wrong choice.
It does, in the fact that she's only with him because she can't be with who she wants to. She's not with him because she loves him. She's not with him because
But
she respects him. He's just the
no,
friend who happens to be
she
there.
does like
So
him
she's going to
though.
be miserable and be with him
She does like
because
him
she
though.
has
That
no
was the whole
choice.
thing of like she was like finding herself attracted to another guy that wasn't Adrian. That's who
She
Luca
wasn't
is.
attracted to him.
Yes, what? Go rewatch the episode where he's introduced and tell me that.
It's fangirlism. It's not love.
Neither is what
It's
she has with
lust.
Adrian.
No, she's actually in love with Adrian. That's why she
That
can't
that,
talk to him.
that is not love.
That is love. You can ask Ashley. I wouldn't talk to him for the longest time until he opened the door, and then
I,
I finally opened up to him.
I don't think Vashti wants to
All
get
girls
involved
are
in
like
this.
this.
No, I'm not
Girls
getting
are like
involved in
this.
any of this. I'm staying away from the hate boner.
Again, I could be kumatized right now because I'm so angry over this bullshit. But
Uh,
it's called friend zoneism. She's leaning on the friend. It's not going to last or work out. because eventually
No,
she's still going to
it's
have those feelings for Adrian. She's going to realize that Adrian's who she wants to be with, and it's not going to change, and they're going to fall apart.
like that's what's going to happen, yes, because that's what the script says. But I disagree with that. Like I feel like she would have a more meaningful relationship with Luca than she would with Adrian.
So, real quick, we have two comments. One from Stella, who says, "One roommate has already given up on it, and we'll read some fanfics. God, I just want to throw books on characterization and good story writing at Ostic."
Asterisk or whatever.
Yes.
Which I'm pretty sure you heard that in person. Um,
Many times.
and then
Yes.
Drago says that alternate timeline stuff was so disappointing. I agree with Pixie on this. However, I agree with Rye that the relationship with Adrian doesn't work.
Oh yeah, no, the alternate timeline
I'm
stuff
not
was a
saying it's going to
super
work long
disappointing
term, but it
mess.
needs to happen.
It was
It needs to
like
happen for their growth.
like the alternate timeline stuff was a super disappointing mess, and I'm not a fan of that episode. Uh, but yeah, no, I don't think Marinette and Adrian should be together at this point. I was rooting for them all through season 2, but then this season happened, and it just ruined it all for me.
And the season could have corrected this so many times. How many episodes in this season did we have where they find out of each other about each other, they fight incredibly well together, and then oh, oops, your memory's erased.
Unfortunately, that number is actually only 2, but those two episodes just show us how much better they work together, knowing each other's identities. Just that fact alone removes a lot of the tension between them and allows them to cooperate better.
Thank you, Drago. That is a
What?
great comment. Shipping war is hilarious.
Uh, Maybe it's a good thing Zero is not on this one.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
Zero
because me and
is
Zero would be yelling at the moment.
Oh, Zero
Zero
hates
shipping.
shippers. He just straight up hates them. We used to tease him about it a while back.
Um,
But
and Stella,
I'm not saying that Marinette and Adrian would be together forever and ever, happily ever after bullshit. I'm
Well,
saying that it needs to happen so they can have that love story, realize they're better off as friends and fighting companions, and get massive character development and growth. We
that's
have had
fair.
very little development with these characters. We still have Marinette being overwhelmed, having to carry on the team and everything else, with even more stress now because now she's the guardian.
Like it,
And
like
so
the last thing
that
Master
you.
Fu told her is you're never going to be happy as long as you're the guardian, but you have to suck it up and do it because you're the guardian.
So that's a very fair point. My point is that I don't care to see them together at this point. I've lost interest.
Stella says, "My issue with Luca is that I feel we haven't gotten enough characterization of him yet. We've gotten
Yes,
hot. We, what we've really gotten of him is hot older sibling of a friend who gets pissed off when people aren't given credit, and then
yes, that's all
Marinette,
we have on him.
and then
Like
Marinette
He's
and
hot
Adrian,
boy.
and then Marinette and Adrian shouldn't be with anybody right now,
so
to be
that
honest.
that comes to one of the core problems with this show, because like you said, we don't even have much development on Marinette and Adrian's relationship. We don't have much development on anything. We're 3 seasons deep, and the best character in the show is Chloe.
Well, in terms of the most well-rounded characters that we have for like that we know motivation, character premise, growth, backpedaling because of stupidity.
Oh God.
That last one is specifically Chloe because that's just.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
I
Marinette
wanna
and
use-
Which they
Desperata.
screwed up too.
Oh no, I
Which
want
they
to use
screwed
it.
up as well with Chloe
Hold on,
because they
yeah,
made
yeah.
her go evil again.
That's why I said the backpedaling part because I really want to use a word that Zero really gets pissed off at me using because this is the dumbest fucking thing ever.
Wait, hold on. Oh,
Yeah,
Don't use
that
it
one.
because
I'm not
it is
going to.
becoming a not okay word.
Yeah, I know. But the only character that is truly the most well-rounded character in this show is fucking Hawkmoth. We
Yeah,
know
we have way
we
more
know
info on Hawkmoth than any other character.
motivation, growth, character, all of it. He is literally the only character who's truly characterized and whose character has stayed true from start to finish, except for that wibbly wobbly timeline where
So
none of that
I'm
matters
just gonna
anyways.
say if the movie comes out and it's a lot better story than what we've gotten in the TV show, I'm gonna say I can see where where there's differences in creativity going on here because look at the mess the TV show is that we have right now.
Uh, Well, speaking of mess, let's
So,
talk about Chloe.
actually, before we get to Chloe, I have one question for you, Vashi.
Okay.
When I first talked to you about this series, I told you that Hawkmoth was a better villain than Evolt.
Yes.
Does that still hold true?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I said, it's like, so we're now 3 seasons in. His motivations haven't changed. His goals haven't changed. His methods haven't necessarily changed.
That's for the worst, though, because, like, dude needs to adapt.
Which his adapting is through his
He did
assistant.
bring in the peacock, and we're seeing some real emotion with him and her because
yeah.
every time she gets hurt from doing
Yeah,
what he's
so
asked,
it's
you
there's
see him
adding
have that conflict
yeah, it's
of
adding
should I
that
keep doing this?
it's adding that depth to his character.
Right.
So, yeah, 100% still better than Evolt.
Okay.
His plan didn't go, this is my plan. No, this is my plan. No, this is my plan.
Yeah.
No, this is my plan. I'm going to deliver pizzas.
So, Pixie, you want to talk about Chloe now? So Chloe regresses this season. Sorry, go on.
There's a comment that I do want to address because it is a fair question and only because it's referenced. I've been skipping a lot of what Fies Daniel's been asking because a lot of it can be summed up towards like the end of the podcast. But he says he has a question: is Hawkmoth a better villain than Guy Amatsu?
I'm gonna say yes right now. To the point of what we've seen so far out of the Thouser story, I'm gonna say yes. I would be more afraid of Hawkmoth than I would be Thouser.
Yeah, Hawkmoth has a more interesting story than Thouser does because Thouser hates Humagear. Why?
Because
like that works, I guess. Like that Hawkmoth has an actual story because yeah, season 1 it's like what does Hawkmoth want the Miraculous for? Does he just want to take over the world? And in season 2 you find out like oh god, his wife, Adrian's mother. Oh no. So yeah, Hawkmoth.
Each season, his character has added more and more depth. Whereas Guy is literally just, I hate Humagear, and I will plan things to 1,000% correct and still do really stupid things.
Lie, cheat, steal, but be bad at all of it.
Because I missed a podcast for it, the past episode. So, what the hell was he expecting Fua to do when he told him that he'd replaced all of his memories with a lie?
That was a shot at Yua. That was a shot at Yua as like, oh, you're gonna betray me. You're gonna like, all right, you don't want him to find out this truth. Okay, I will tell it to him. He literally only did it to spite Yua, and whatever Fua's reaction was inconsequential to him, or so he thought.
His original plan for that was for her to go tell him.
And she didn't.
Which, yes, we all know she didn't. But he originally planned was for her to go tell him.
Oh,
he adapted his plan because she didn't. So his plan was still to tell him, like that was gonna absolve him of any wrongdoing, to keep him from not hating Zaya. Like that is the dumbest thing you can do.
Like because I know he told her what the truth was. Did he want her to tell him? I don't remember that.
Yes.
All right. So this is what Bowser is trying to accomplish with the whole Fua Pass thing. He was hoping he felt that if by revealing the truth about his past, Fua would have a complete mental breakdown and not be able to counteract him anymore.
But it would literally only work for the 4 minutes
And
that it would.
destroy any trust between Fua and Yua.
But it
Because if
still
you
wouldn't have
told
stopped. But it still would not have stopped what is literally driving Fua right now, which is fuck
and that's where
Zaya.
Bowser was wrong.
Okay, this is not a Kamen Rider podcast. I have to
So-
say it.
But because of that, because Bowser cannot plan correctly and properly, and even remotely intelligently, Hawkmoth is a better villain.
Yes.
That was the point I
Yes,
was trying to get
Hawkmoth's
to.
plans don't work out a lot of the time, but they have lasting
Good
implications,
plan.
good
they're
and bad. Because as
So,
we've seen with a lot of his plan, with a lot of Hawkmoth's plans, you do see ongoing ripples from them. You see
So-
strains on friendships, you see bad effects on Hawkmoth and his assistant. So yeah, Hawkmoth's the better villain.
yeah, no, Hawkmoth's
So
better
anyway,
than
Chloe.
half the Rider villains confirmed.
So
Yes.
Chloe.
So Chloe gets her Miraculous taken away because she revealed her identity when she first got it, and that's not allowed. Marinette was only loaning it to her out of desperation, but she's not in that situation anymore, so Chloe doesn't get it anymore. Especially since knowing her identity being revealed means that the villains know it, and that could put her in danger if Ladybug keeps giving it to her. And we get the episode.
Did seem play out.
We get the episode that addresses that when they lay an ambush.
And then it just leads to, yeah, I don't care, give it to me, I don't care. She literally turns back into that petulant, spoiled child who, up until the end of season 2, was actually learning friendship. And all of that. And how to be kind and understanding while still being, the rich bitch that she is.
So my roommate has these, and
Tiki! That is awesome.
I missed the first one. Did he have plaque?
Yes.
Oh, kawaii.
Kiss.
Not kids.
But
So
It's actually really well made.
Everything that happens in this season with Chloe is literally detrimental to the character development she had last season.
Right, because like being a hero was teaching her a legitimate sense of responsibility. As she was able to admit to Ladybug that she understood her behavior was wrong. But now with it taken away, she's regressed to how she used to be. In that, like, she was just a spoiled brat, and being a spoiled brat led her to become a hero. Making more villains meant that Ladybug would have to keep saving her, so she could spend more time with Ladybug. Like, she hasn't actually learned her lesson, but it's just
it was leading it that direction.
right. So
and
so
with Chloe,
like
Go ahead, Pixie.
like,
yeah.
well, I wasn't sure if you were through with your thought or not. I
I
don't want to interrupt your thought.
was just gonna say that like the only way to like redeem Chloe's character at this point is to have her lose what she has because her behavior is not acceptable. Because up to this point, like, she'll be a horrible person, give the minimalist apology, everyone will forgive her, and then she goes back to being a horrible person because everyone already forgave her. And the only way to redeem her character at this point is to have them not forgive her, have her actually have consequences for her behavior. Pixie?
that thing Lila should also have.
We're getting to Lila later. Holy shit.
Oh God, just hold
That
off on that. That's another person.
that that is for
It's okay.
later.
All right, so Chloe. At first, I didn't like Chloe because she's Miss Popular, mean Queen Bee type personality, which makes sense that she got the Queen Bee Miraculous. Because of her Queen Bee personality type, it works because she can control and influence others. However, as we have seen with her, yes, she starts off as this horrible, disgusting person that nobody could stand. But then you learn why. It's how she's been raised, it's because of her parents. Her mom's away most of the time, her dad's the mayor. Mayor?
Yes, he is the mayor, and also he owns a
Right.
hotel.
Right. I wasn't sure if it was mayor or king or whatever.
The
But
King of France!
so she doesn't. I'm not as studied up on France as I am some other places. So
Yeah,
you
I can't
see
speak
with
French.
her that she doesn't get much in the way of parenting. She gets pretty much pampered to because everybody feels bad for her. Everyone that's in her life gives her what she wants because mommy's not there, daddy's not there. Daddy feels bad because mommy's not there, so he gives her everything she wants. Mommy wants her to be little Miss Perfect and
No!
beautiful, and
No!
you're going to be with Adrian.
Actually, that's wrong. Mommy
Just wait.
doesn't want her to be Little Miss Perfect. Mommy doesn't even acknowledge she exists unless she's behaving like a horrible person.
Unless she's modeling. Unless she's being like her mother.
Yeah.
So we see her evolve from this little snotty brat. We see her get akumatized. We see her family get akumatized. And she realizes there are consequences for your actions to a degree. We gotta remember it's to a degree. I can't do this. And then, God, I can't do the black face.
I didn't realize
Sorry.
that you had been doing the Tiki one until like right before you took it down last time.
So we get some real growth and development with Chloe. We find out what her family life's like, what her social structures is, and kind of why she is the way she is. And we see through her getting to be Queen Bee, she gets this notoriety. She gets the fame, she gets the attention and all the love. But in doing that, she reveals herself, which is the number one thing you're told not to do when you get one.
But she
As soon
didn't
as you
get
get
that
it,
speech.
everybody says can't to reveal.
She didn't get
But
that
she did.
speech.
So we see a little bit of wah, I can't be Queen Bee anymore. But then, what is it, towards the middle of season 3 or at the end of season 2? We hear her say herself in a very grown up and mature way, I understand why I can't be Queen Bee anymore. But I will be here for when you need me. And she was saying it kind of mocking Hawkmoth, who had just tried to use her. Kind of like, Ladybug's not that dumb. You're not going to be able to use me. I understand that I jeopardized myself, and this is why I can't be this anymore.
I don't remember that at all. I remember that episode ending with her getting pissed at Ladybug for not giving her Miraculous.
It did happen, but I do
And then
want
they
to
do a
say it
180.
happened. I do want to say it did kind of start that way in season 3.
It happened, and then the very next episode, we see her back in. They're backtracking. They take her character back to being manipulative and whiny and not understanding why she can't be Queen Bee.
Yeah, like they literally explain it to her, and she goes, "Yeah, that makes sense. I get it, but I'm still gonna be here because you're gonna need me anyways." And then they literally go into bite me, give me my Miraculous. I'm gonna be evil now.
Yeah, that's the only part I remember. I don't remember being mature there.
But there's a
the
point
mature
where
was towards the end of an episode.
I'm gonna have to rewatch
It was very small.
and look
like
for that.
it does happen, and it was the start of the
Should
let's
be
move Chloe in the correct path.
Episode Queen Wasp or Miracle Queen.
But yeah, it's like they completely 180 her character and drive it into the ground. out of
So you
nowhere
got
and
a
it's
lot of growth out
unnecessary.
of Chloe, and then all of a sudden, the very next time you have her involved, she's back to being manipulative. She's back to being mean and not understanding why she can't have her miraculous.
So
So it's just really disappointing because we get character development and then they take it away.
so Fi's Daniel posted a comment which led to Stella posting a comment and is relevant to this. So what do you think is going to happen with the Be Miraculous? Will the Be Miraculous change ownership next season, or will Chloe change next season to get her
Actually,
Miraculous
we know
back?
the answer to that question. It is a spoiler. Do you guys really want me to reveal
Um,
that?
well, I'm going to assume it's what Stella put in here. So I'm going to read what Stella says, and if it's a spoiler warning, suckers. It says, I've seen some theories that the holders of the bee and the dragon are gonna switch. So Chloe with the dragon and Kagame with the bee. Which does make sense.
What?
As
No.
those are the
I
two.
don't think that makes sense.
Actually,
Yeah, it
that
does. It does. Those are the two that Hawkmoth knows about.
so that is just a
Hawkmoth knows
theory.
who those two are.
He
That
actually
makes
knows
sense in
who
theory.
most of them are now.
All
It
of that
is.
got all of that gets wiped with the miraculous ladybug.
Does it?
Yep.
All
That's
right.
how they wipe all the memory of anything of them knowing who they are. The reason why it didn't remove Hawkmoth, knowing who Chloe and Kagame were, is because them two getting it were literally nothing to do with anything.
So, uh, that's just a fan theory. That is not the spoiler I was referring to. We have an actual answer.
Oh, okay. Well, there's the spoiler warning now.
All right. Spoiler warning. Uh, there is going to be a new Be Miraculous user.
I mean, that makes sense because we already know Hawkmoth is closely watching Chloe.
Is
And
it
He's
going to be
gone after
Chloe's
her
friend?
multiple
I
times. He's used her multiple
no.
times.
It is not going to be Sabrina. I actually have a theory about who it's going to be if you want me to get into that.
Okay, sure.
So we actually got a incredibly blurry image of the new user. Like you could only make out their general appearance and outfit. And their general appearance is it is a female. It does appear to be a female with, that platinum blonde hair and a white and black striped shirt. Where have we seen all of those qualities before?
Aside from Chloe?
Both Chloe and her mom have those qualities of like the black and white clothing and the blonde hair.
Oh, good
So
God, I think
so it
No.
looks. I don't think it's gonna be Chloe's mom. No, I'm not saying that. Like, absolutely not.
Chloe
However,
has a sister we don't know about.
no, she has an aunt we don't know about. So, Emily, you remember that how Adrian's mom starred in a movie?
Yes.
That movie was directed by someone with the initials A. Bourgeois. Now, it's not Andre because he's mayor and he runs a hotel. It's not Audrey because she's a fashion model. So there's another bourgeois family member that we don't know about who is in the movie business, who's in film. And I think that's who it's going to be.
That bothers me a lot more than
That
it should.
everything I just said is absolute speculation.
Like, the only reason why that bothers me is because none of these have gone to adults in any way, shape, or form by choice beyond the two that Hawkmoth and his wife had.
Yeah, they only had those because they found them while they were off on a trip. They were
Right.
sightseeing or doing an archaeological dig,
They were
something,
in
and they found those.
they were in Tibet for some reason.
I'll have to rewatch the episode to remember exactly why. But they found them, and that's how they ended up with them. And they were using them until the point that his wife ultimately, I'm going to say, died. I don't think she's alive.
Me
I
neither.
think she's dead. And he's just hoping to reverse it.
But then someone would have to take her place.
Well, there is the assistant that he obviously has no feelings for, other
Natalie?
than getting hurt.
Uh, no, I disagree. I think he values her. He's not in love with her, no, but he values her.
No, to an extent. Because he still gets very angry anytime there's a hint of her becoming the new Mrs.
Right,
or
because he's
Adrian's
not
mom.
ready to move on from his dead wife. That's just grief talking. But like,
So in my fan theory, I could see him
he
getting angry and putting her in Emily's place to have
he
Emily
has
back.
very genuine concern for Natalie's health. I don't
Yeah,
think that
I'm not saying he don't.
like I think that's more. I don't think that's a sign of miscare. Like I think he actually does like her as a at least as a friend. As close
Yeah,
as
but I
like
don't.
he trusted her enough to tell her his secret.
But I can see
He doesn't.
definitely.
He couldn't even bring himself to tell Adrian.
Well, he was going to, but then Adrian brought up Natalie being his
But
mom, and that was the end of
but
that.
look how long it took him to even try to do it. Natalie has known all along because he trusts
And that's
her.
because of her. So, anyways, as far as the Be Miraculous, I don't think it's going to go to an adult. I think it'll go to another team. But I'm not sure
So
who. It's probably going to be a new character they bring in.
I will say that
Because it can't be tied to Emily, to Chloe, or her family because they're all known. They've all been well exposed.
one of the creators in an interview when talking about season 4 mentioned that like, oh yeah, it's gonna have new heroes, new miraculous, secret siblings.
So
Yeah,
it could be a secret
Chloe's
sibling, maybe. But I see that being just a bad decision in writing. Because, again, her whole family's exposed. And she's
I
exposed.
I
So,
disagree with that. I think there is a secret aunt. Not
yeah,
necessarily
but
going to be the
not to get
miraculous
the
user.
miraculous.
That's
I
just a
don't think
theory,
the miraculous going to any
but
of
like
them.
I'm pretty sure there's a secret aunt out there.
Yeah, but I don't see the miraculous going to anybody in Chloe's family.
Honestly,
However,
though,
we do know Adrian has a cousin we found out this year.
yes, the
It is
original Cat
possible for
Noir.
a secret sibling. I think it is possible there may be a secret sibling that shows up either cousin wise or not talked about, illegitimate child. I could see that being happening. But again, not likely.
Um, we kind of detracted a bit, but back to Chloe proper. Uh,
what a bitch.
her like I was willing to like give her the benefit of the doubt of like, oh, she's gonna have her big turnaround at the end of the season though, and then nope, she just straight
Oh,
up
they turned
allies with
around.
Hawkmoth.
Yeah, they turned her around all right.
Oh yeah.
She is now full on Hawkmoth and Lila help her.
For no apparent reason.
No, she has a reason. She wants her miraculous so she can be a hero at any cost.
Let me rephrase that. At no other reason other than the fact that she's a spoiled, petulant child.
There you go. She was straight up going to steal the Be Miraculous and take it to New York with her if she wasn't so stupid and stayed within arm's reach of Ladybug.
Like, the whole aspect of that storyline just was complete fuckery.
Anything else?
Anybody who says otherwise is wrong.
Anything else about
Can I
Chloe?
choose the next topic?
Go ahead.
Favorite villain out of this season?
Silencer.
Yeah.
Luca makes it hard.
Baker X.
Baker X was a weird one, but he was kind of fun.
Was too funny. He was hilarious. I love Baker X. Because
Man.
we all have that one person in our family who is that way.
Ugh.
I freaking love the whole Baker X deal. He was hilarious.
But yeah, Silencer. Luca made a really good villain, and his motivation was clear. Like it was a crime of passion of like trying to fight an injustice. Like it was just a really solid episode.
It was very well done.
Um,
So, do we want to talk Lila?
we have to. Fuck.
We're gonna have to. You can't talk
Okay.
about season 3 without talking Lila.
So
Where
Lila
to start?
finally returns.
I want to
Why?
point out something. I want to point out something though. Even following the production code, one of these episodes, like the episode where he pulls up behind her talking to her at the beginning of the episode, is literally the same conversation of when he pulls up to her at the end of the episode she was in season 2. Those two episodes literally take place back to back. But they idiotically spaced out the episodes for it, because it's literally the exact same scene of her going, well, I've got another plan, blah blah blah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
And
is,
I know I said this about Chloe, but what a bitch.
yeah. So Lila
That's
is
the nice way to put it.
Lila. Like I was
So-
avoiding using that word about Chloe, but like fuck Lila. Okay,
Lila
so
is Lila Rossi.
so
She's
to
also known as Miss Show Off and Super Liar, are
so
the other names she has used.
to go through Lila's character, Lila is a compulsive liar. She will say anything and everything if it gets her attention and makes people adore her, and whatever she needs to say to get whatever she wants, no matter how far-fetched it is. And everyone listening to her will absolutely believe everything she says as 100% fact, with no skepticism at all that she could potentially just be wrong.
You know, like when she claims that the most non-violent person they know shoved her down the stairs.
Or worse, when
And
Marinette
stole her necklace.
when Marinette throws a napkin, a balled up napkin at Lila, Lila catches it, saying that because she was faking a wrist injury, saying that, oh, she was worried it would have taken out Max's eye. Max, who wears glasses. She was worried a napkin was going to take out his eye. And Max, the smart one, is like, wow, you saved my eye. And it's like, dude, you, of all people, should know that your eye was not in danger from that. The problem is that the Thomas Astruc thinks that people either think Lila's telling the truth or know that she is intentionally lying, with no middle ground. The possibility that she could be wrong, like accidentally wrong, isn't even there. That entire scene would be fixed if Max pointed out that Lila didn't have to worry, in a completely non-accusatory way.
Kind of side
Right,
note,
and I was going to say that too, because as anybody who wears glasses knows, you know what's going to break your glasses or scratch them. You know a paper towel is not going to hurt your glasses. So the fact that you
power
just went along with Lila is really weird.
So I'm gonna quote CinemaSins on this: "The power of boners is strong."
True.
That doesn't apply
She's
here.
She's very pretty. She's very pretty.
Max is not hitting on Lila. Like he's
Like,
acting
she's
around
very
her
pretty.
the same way everyone is. You cannot convince
know.
me that all of the girls in that class are gay.
Not all of them.
No, there's one.
Oh yeah, they're like Julika and Rose are straight up dating. I
But
refuse
So,
to believe that they are
as
not.
far as Lila's character, what I'm seeing here when you look her up, her pros or likes is the fact that she can manipulate others' attention and revenge. She dislikes being humiliated, defeated, and superhero lecturing. So we can assume Lila is a professional liar. And
She must
unfortunately,
be.
what we run into with people who are compulsive liars, they are very good at manipulating everybody around them. So far from what we've seen, everybody except Adrian believes her.
Adrian doesn't believe her because Ladybug exposed one of her lies in front of him. Thus, he knew, oh, she tells lies. Otherwise, he was eating out of the palm of her hand just
Oh,
as
he was
anyone else.
originally, but
Yeah.
then he found out she's a liar.
The,
And but even Adrian
problem
points out what's wrong with letting her lie if it makes her feel good.
so many things, actually.
I know, but that's kind of how he justified it to Marinette at one point. I forget which episode it was.
I think it was
Marinette was going off about it, and he pointed out, I know she's not telling the truth, but why expose it if it makes her happy? Trust me, do you really think I would be deceived?
Yes. Adrian's an idiot.
So yeah, Lila is a... I really don't like Lila's character. I don't care for her one bit.
And
I really hate this character.
And she fills a role that was being left open when Chloe was becoming a hero. Chloe was the mean girl at school, but becoming a hero was pulling her away from that, teaching her positive morals that she even carries into season 3, like on the train when she takes control of the situation. But to have Chloe regress back into that role means that you don't need both her and Lila.
And join forces with Lila. That's my biggest point. We have them both working together.
No, we don't.
I could have dealt... Yeah, she's pretty much working with Lila now.
Where? When?
Wasn't it in the last episode? She's pretty much... I hate Ladybug, and her and Lila kind of get together.
I'll rewatch, but I don't remember Lila being there. I remember her hating Ladybug, though. There's
some episode where Lila approaches Chloe, and we don't get a whole lot off of it.
There's an episode where Lila approaches Chloe to lie to her to get her emotions running high, so that she will hate Ladybug. But Chloe vents her anger off on Sabrina, and Sabrina gets akumatized. But they were definitely not colluding. Lila was just straight up manipulating Chloe.
I think they're gonna collude now because I don't see them being able to handle.
They're all now working for Hawkmoth, so
I don't think Chloe and Lila can get along. I don't think it'll happen.
I could see Hawkmoth trying to make them work together. Because what's better than one bad girl keeping an eye on your son than two?
While Lila is straight up working for Hawkmoth, whether or not she actually knows it's him, I don't think Chloe's going to keep going down that path. I think Chloe's just going to go down whatever path she thinks will get her goal quickest. And I don't think that that'll necessarily be Hawkmoth all the time. I think she's just gonna go be the mean girl at school again. Alright, I tried working with Hawkmoth and look where that got me. Move on. But that's just me giving Chloe more credit than she deserves after what she did.
Yeah. I don't know. I really don't like the Lila character at all, especially the fact that she's been exposed in lying. You can tell me everybody did not see her grab that with her supposedly injured wrist and then only react after Marinette said, see? You can't tell me the whole plot about that.
That's the problem, is that, everyone just loses all free thinking when she's talking, when she's around. Yeah, there's people who can, alright, manipulate others with their words, but Lila just straight up...
You can't do it to everybody.
Lila's
able to do it to everybody.
They all just straight up lose all free thinking. It is bafflingly bad.
Now for the other thing that's baffling and confusing, we have Ladybug now as the guardian of the box.
Let's talk about Master Fu before we get to that.
Okay,
Let's talk about
because
the Guardian of the
that brings me up.
Miraculous.
That brings up that talking about Fu or the guardian brings up my point of how unnecessary it is for Chloe to be the guardian of the box.
You mean Marinette?
Yeah, Marinette, that's what I meant, not the psycho.
Um, but like, let's talk about Master Fu and the Guardian of the Miraculous, the mentor to Ladybug, the one who gave her and Adrian their Miraculous. Let's talk about this motherfucker and his backstory. About how during his training when he was a kid to become the Guardian, he failed his test, broke the rules, single handedly caused the destruction of the entire order, and became the Guardian by default because he was the only one left.
And he felt guilty at that point.
Let's talk about how this guy, like 100 years later, continues to run away from his problems when the monster he created returns, and rather than trust the team he put together to, help resolve it, decides to run away and completely abandon all of Paris and getting back the stolen Miraculous that he finally found after all this time.
Yeah, yeah, that's a thing that happened.
Yeah. What do you guys
Like
think
an
about
idiot.
that?
Like, it makes sense for his character because we really haven't seen much growth of his character beyond the fact that he's at least taken the guardianship responsibilities accurate. And to justify him running away, kind of can't let the box get eaten. Understandable. But yeah, no, you're gonna let the entire city of Paris get eaten? You're an asshole. You literally did not learn from your mistake.
Which is my problem. He's like 100-something years old. And he learned nothing? He went through World War II and he learned nothing?
Depends on what side of France he was living in.
The side where the military were trying to steal the Miraculous.
So probably German.
Yeah, he said it was the Germans in the love story episode where we find out his past with his love.
Great, sweet.
Oh gosh, where to start with this?
But
The Master Fu character is fucked up.
Like that, like the entire character was single-handedly destroyed in a single episode for me. I'd rather have not known his backstory. I'd rather have been vague.
Like I would deal with the backstory. He made a mistake. That's why we don't know more than we do about this Guardians of the Box or anything like that. Like I can accept that. What I can't accept is their handling of the character. He had a lot of potential with the unrequited love. We had a love story building here. That's where I get the most angry about is how they handled that. And then before we even get much training or much knowledge passed on, it's literally, you're the guardian now. Shove this to you. You're going to be miserable.
Here's my problem with that.
He didn't give her anything to be happy about. She literally just got forced into being the guardian.
Here's my problem with
he
it.
made this horrible monster. Okay. But we have seen this monster is the same thing as the monsters we've seen before from Peacock. We've seen the team defeat them every single time. He should have trusted his proteges. Instead, he slips into their rooms and steals their Miraculous. Like, that doesn't fit his character at all. They really blew it with me with that. And then him constantly running away from them instead of giving them back their Miraculous and a chance to prove that they can defeat this.
Here's my biggest problem with it. And it's literally with him deciding to give up guardianship. Because again, I can make sense of the fact that his character not learning a damn thing over 100 years, no matter how stupid that is. But he named Marinette Guardian, or well, correction, Ladybug Guardian,
Because it's Marinette.
solely because there were no other options. Yet the literal order is back.
Okay, if you
There's
didn't
an
point that out, I was going to
entire
point that out.
there's now an entire community of people literally trained to guard these damn things.
Yeah, they reappeared as soon as the monster was defeated. Everybody reappeared, the monastery reappeared, all the people reappeared. It makes no sense that he just threw it onto Marinette, who's already cracking under the pressure of having to be Ladybug and not being able to be who she is and who she wants to be with. So let's just add to that and tell her, you're not going to be happy, but here. He literally gave her no advice when he gave her that box, other than you just have to accept this and accept that you're not going to be happy with your life, but you can have happy moments.
And
And
then when you
then
pass on the guardianship, you'll lose all your memories of everything that's happened in the last 10 years.
That is the problem that I have with this. All right.
that's what I don't agree with. Because it
So
erased things that it didn't need to erase.
so like I don't like that the memory loss is mandatory like that because
Yeah.
how can you have an order devoted to guarding something if no one remembers that thing exists? What happens
Right.
if you pass on to a protege and then something happens to that protege before they have their own disciple? Like, it
Hmm.
fucking breaks the chain. Like, the memory loss should not come with the passing on. It should be a separate ritual that gets performed of like, all right, here's how you do the memory loss thing, and then that could leave the way for like, all right, here's how you reverse that in desperate situations.
Like,
I mean,
because we know his Kwame never forgets.
like,
Why is, I think, the turtle Kwame he has, we know
ways.
that he doesn't forget this ways. So I don't see where the complete and total memory erase is needed if the Kwame's going to remember everybody who's ever worked with him.
Well, he
Because only
can't.
the Guardian gets him.
He doesn't have to tell anyone about it, but like, I guess you could make the argument that like the order is so expansive that there would be plenty of backups on hand in case a situation happened. I mean, it's not like there's going to be some kind of cataclysmic event where the entire order is wiped out except for one sole survivor.
Well,
Oh wait.
there was. That happened.
But like, it's still in theory. Like, my issue on that is, which I realize I missed half of what you guys were saying. There had to have at least been one other guardian who now is in existence, and by all accounts should technically still be the legal guardian of the box, seeing as he never gave up guardianship. He literally got eaten.
No.
And that was the
No,
person
no.
that was training Fu.
That person gave up guardianship as he was being eaten. He tossed the box of food and said, "It's yours now." It's in the flashback.
Mm,
Oh, that did happen?
Like you see the shot of one of the monks
uh,
tossing the box to Fu as Fu runs away. So I take that as you're the guardian now. Bye. And I don't think Fu would have been able to pass on
mm,
guardianship if he wasn't the official guardian.
yeah.
I
Okay,
mean,
yeah.
he may have ended up being official guardian by default, but it should go back to the person who was before. I don't know. It's a
So
whole
so
wibbly-wobbly.
what you're saying though is actually the potential for a really cool plot line where the Order becomes the new villains as they want to take back the Miraculous from Paris.
Actually, that would make a very good storyline.
Because like the way I see it, Hawkmoth is kind of played out at this point. And like I feel like season
Well,
3 should have been his downfall, and we could have moved on to a different villain in season 4, and that would have been a good plot line to pursue.
Do
Fucking
you
Fire
kind of
Nation.
get that something's going to happen there because now that he knows the order's back, it kind of ends with the whole
Actually,
Hawk Moths wanting to take a trip
I actually do think that they will
because
make.
this. I think they're going to go there
I do think that they will appear in season 4 because I saw concept art of what looked like a monk giving Ladybug a backbreaker.
because we know that they found the Peacock Miraculous and the Hawk Moth Miraculous. So they know they found them. They know they found them in this area where the monasteries magically reappeared.
Yeah, it was on the news and
And the
everything.
last bit we get with them is that they're going to go there. And we also know the Peacock Miraculous is now suddenly fixed.
You say that as though we didn't get an explanation for it.
So, I mean, we did, but it's building up to where I'm seeing Hawkmoth's going to go to the monastery. They've kind of left this open to them, or they are going to go there.
It would make sense because there are more miraculous there. We see in the flashback that there are other miracle boxes, so there's more miraculous than the ones we know.
My other biggest problem with the whole Fu thing is we have this beautiful love story where they have spanned years keeping each other's secrets, staying apart, and then he just loses all memory of her, even before the box.
Because she
and then
knew.
He just goes with her.
Because she
Not
knew
her
about.
Amnesia.
So he lost all memory of her because she knew about the miraculous, and the spell is to like cut him off from all of it. So he had to forget about her, so that he wouldn't reunite with her and she could tell him about it again. But obviously, that's a completely flawed system.
Yeah, and it makes no sense. Why are you just going to go with somebody you don't know, you don't remember, you have no clue who they are, but you're going to just magically
Because it's love at first sight.
Because, as Fu put it, when the heart knows, the heart knows.
Generic Disney crap.
Yeah. Okay, then why is it, you're going off what Rai says, why do you marry the first person who kisses you when they date rape you at night in the forest?
Because true love's first kiss.
True love's first kiss woke her up, so I've got to marry him. Or my shoe fit in a glass slipper that should fit half the people in this country.
Do you really want me to go into the fairy tales the way they actually
No.
are, or the way Disney
No.
Disney whitewashed them. We're talking about the whitewash.
We're making fun of it. That is all.
We're making fun of it because that's literally what this is. This is literally the most Disney-esque.
The best argument. The best argument I can make is that while his memories were erased, his subconscious wasn't, like, he subconsciously still has feelings for that person, even if he doesn't understand those feelings. So he does know her in a different sense.
In the biblical sense.
It would also explain why he immediately trusted Ladybug when he doesn't know her.
Right, but it's still all very flawed with this, and it's not good writing.
A good way to summarize the entire season.
And stop trying to set your bed on fire.
Wait, what? Was that a match or a lighter?
No, that was her laptop sparking.
What? Should you be doing this?
I think you're done with the podcast.
I think you're talking, but I don't hear anything.
My squeeze ball just busted.
Oh, that's what that was.
Your Hello Kitty squeeze ball?
She had mentioned earlier she plugged in her laptop and it shot a spark out, so that's what I thought it was.
You... Why? Okay, you're talking and I can't hear you.
Push to talk. Push to talk.
Y'all are making me so frustrated. I popped my squeeze ball.
We're making you frustrated, or the show is making you frustrated?
Both.
But this season had a crap ton of potential that it just dumped down the drain. It did very few things perfectly. Some things okay, but the majority of it was a giant bag of ass.
How many characters can we regress in one season? All? Let's try all.
Because it to the point where they literally re-akumatized half the people that got akumatized that should not have gotten akumatized again.
You remember that time Max got akumatized because nobody wanted to play a video game with him? Yeah, that happened.
Let's do it again.
It's not actually. Let me rephrase that because it's not that they didn't want to play a game with him. Everyone was just busy. They had other things going on. If he had waited like a day, he would have been fine. Jeez. Okay, so let's talk about.
We have a comment that I want clarification on, because depending on your answer, Stella, I may cuss at you. She says, talk to the creators of Teen Titans for good storylines in an episodic format. Please tell me you're not referring to Teen Titans Go.
Oh, she's not. She's referring to Teen Titans Classic.
Okay, good. Then yes, you're right. Because if you were referring to Go, I was going to cut you out on stream. I don't care. Somebody's balls were going to get exposed on stream.
Zero says we're not allowed to say that anymore either.
Too late. Too bad he's not here. I run the podcast now. Ha ha ha. He's gonna get mad at that.
If he even watches
this, if he decides to watch 2 hours into this.
And if he does watch this, he has to get through the shipping segment first.
Right. And 2, if he kicks me off the podcast, hey, look, I've stolen half the crew for my own.
Be nice.
Veshi doesn't play nice. Veshi plays to win.
No, I don't. So I think I'll go over some of the stuff that Fies has been posting. Especially seeing as he reposted one of his points, and I don't necessarily understand the question.
All right, what's the question?
Do you feel like Miraculous is what Tokusatsu's diversity should have followed?
What do you mean by diversity? Like different ethnicities? While we wait for an answer on that, what else do you got?
Let's see. Perhaps if Kamen Rider and/or Sentai can do a crossover with Miraculous, Toku can implement the Super Sentai and Rider cast going to Paris to fight enemies related to the Japanese series there.
Now I'm just imagining the Sentai mech fighting a Senta monster made by Mayura. And it's like...
That would be good.
It's like that Tokyuger scene in the Guy movie.
I'll skip that one. And he said, Multi-Mouse is like Marinette having the mid-season power-up. Dragon Bug is Marinette having the final form power-up. So what do you expect with Adrian, Marinette, and Luca's love interests next season?
So we got the first answer to that at the end of this season. Marinette is going to start dating Luca, and Adrian is going to start dating Kagami. And all of those relationships are going to fail. Because
Adrian and Kagame's makes the most sense to last, because they are very similar and they do genuinely like each other outside of anything, whereas Marinette is more like Luca's her silver medal.
Here's the thing. Kagami...
And just to clarify, I'm not doing anything weird. I'm literally picking up 1,000 of these little gel beads that just exploded everywhere out of my stress ball.
Great. I didn't even notice. So, Kagami and Adrian don't have the foundation for a good relationship. Kagami is only interested in Adrian because she has no friends and he's the only guy she knows.
Right, on that aspect, but they do
And they have
genuinely
been
get
forced
along too.
together since they were born.
But they do genuinely get along though. There,
They
there
do,
is that.
but like there's no chemistry there at all. Like that relationship is not going to last. It's only going to make it as far as it does because Adrian is too nice to like hurt anyone's feelings.
Right.
He's going to end up marrying her on that fact.
Oh,
Do you feel that season 3 has basically the worst character development out of all seasons?
characters literally regress.
So yes.
Next question.
How would the staff at ZAG, which I'm assuming is a production company for this show,
Zagtoons.
um, would be able to bring good character development back to Miraculous? Don't regress their people.
Okay, so make Marinette competent again. Like, just bring back season 1 Marinette. Make Chloe understand that her behavior is unacceptable, even if, like, she has to, like, lose something to really drive it home. Like, because right now everything in her life just encourages that behavior. It can't do that. Like, it has to stop. So, for her to truly change. Adrian needs to grow a fucking backbone. Um, Alia needs to get an actual personality again.
Beyond the I
He needs
love
to get
Nino.
therapy and stop being afraid of everybody and actually socialize.
Let's see here. Nino needs an actual character again.
Beyond being in love with Alia.
And all of the classmates need to get more attention than they do. Like, if you're gonna do the temporary heroes, actually double down on it and show us why they deserve to be heroes, outside of anyone could be a hero with the right miraculous.
And back to the earlier one of the diversity, that was in terms of ethnicities as for the users of Miraculous. So I'm assuming in reference to the Dragon Kwame, the Horse Kwame, which is still kind of slightly racist in a slight manner of speaking.
Hey, I'm just happy Max didn't get the monkey.
Yeah, because that's about the worst it could have got. But then at the same time, you have the other Asian person as Sun Wukong. You know, the Monkey King, which is a very Chinese thing.
have like a million of these all over the place.
But I don't like this isn't really a concern of mine with ethnicity. Like, yeah, cool, diversity is great to see because it helps you literally diversify your cast. But like, it's not something I specifically look for in a show.
Right.
It's just something that if it's there, like, I'm glad to see that. So
Yeah.
I don't feel like any show needs to be forced to do it. If it fits the narrative, then that's great. But it doesn't even need to fit the narrative to exist.
Right. It can literally just be, and it's not something that you need to draw attention to. I think that's where a lot of shows are fucking up here recently, is they're drawing overt attention to it. And that at that point you're just pandering to that specific group or that specific ethnicity or whatever to go, look, see, we're covering you too. And it's just a cop out. I think that's what Miraculous does very well, is like there are multiple ethnicities in here, and there's nothing that's over the head with it of, don't forget this person's this or this person's this.
The closest we
get to it is Kagame.
Is specifically Kagame's mom, who's enforcing all this on her.
Right. So Miraculous has done very, very well for it, and probably a lot better than Japan would have done. Not gonna lie on that. I've seen a lot of stuff that's come out of Japan, and holy
Like,
fuck, am I
I
terrified about their racism.
I watch an American cartoon and it's a bunch of white people. Yeah, sure. I watch a Japanese show and it's like, all right, all Japanese cast. Yeah, that's where they're from. So whatever. Like, it's what it is.
Like, and that's fine. It's like, but then they've been doing branching out better in terms of like including the other ethnicities that they do have in Japan. Like they do have black people in Japan. They've been including them in roles. Same thing with um, white people and so on and so forth. But damn, when they try to be racist, they are racist as shit.
Like, I had no problems with director Hilltop being played by a black man. It's like, yeah, that's cool. You got a black actor to play this role. And hey, he's doing a good job at it. Why are you making a joke about him looking like Eddie Murphy? Why are you making the same joke twice?
So to be fair, that was a great joke. Because it was funny, because he did look like the guy. Let's be fair.
It was
Like
well
the discount
executed.
version. It was well executed, but the only thing that threw me off is because of how they usually deal with, for lack of a better term, their minorities in Japan. They're not really highly recognized there, so at most they're usually one-off characters, maybe 2-3 episodes. That's it. Hilltop being there for an entire damn season was fantastic. And I will admit for myself, because I've not seen a lot of Japanese television, so this was a very odd thing to see as, hey, there's a black main cast character. I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, that's the thing, I forgot. And then it was on about the day. It's so they're kind of both, they both have their faults and they both have their understandings on it. And then one last thing, what are the expectations for the several Miraculous specials coming? I think we covered that with a movie of We Have None.
Yeah, no, there were some of those specials were supposed to be made for season 3 and then got delayed, and now they might happen in season 4. We don't know. Like, it's a whole mess. Like, there was a Halloween special that we don't even know if it's even going to happen at this point.
So like it's
Unfortunately, we have no information.
oh yeah. All in all, is like this show's good when it wants to be.
Mm,
It's fantastic when it tries.
that's the problem, though, is that uh, the show thinks it's better than it is.
Yeah,
So when you say
I will
when it
openly
wants
admit
to
that.
be, it wants to be good a lot more than you make it sound in that sentence.
Like
And I want to say this maybe if what we've heard's true of creative differences. We've seen this happen with other shows where the further along the show gets, the more things break down. It seems to me like season three's a big clusterfuck of creative differences.
which I mean,
There's
it very well
definitely
could be.
too many variables going on here that just don't make sense.
And that very much could be the case. Like, but there's aspects of this show that, and well, more aspects of the story itself that are phenomenal that we don't usually see in shows like this. And I will side with Stella on that. That Ostick thinks it's better than it is.
So
Like for being a kids show, yeah, it's fine. Because kids aren't really going to care about the damn story. Let's be honest.
doubt.
To a point. To a point. A lot of them are more into the aspect of
Cool
like,
superhero stuff.
yeah, cool superhero stuff. We don't care about all of this crap going on in the background. We just want to watch the superheroes.
See,
I mean, that's why I watched Power Rangers as a kid initially. before I realized that the story wasn't all that bad.
But like as a kid, like I watched Teen Titans and I was all into the story. I wanted to know more. I was upset when I missed an episode and didn't catch some important thing that came up later.
Right,
Right.
but that show focused on the storyline. Like that was the main point of the show was the story. Whereas
That's
when you get like some of these other shows, you can tell it's not so much
so
story based as it is toy cell based.
so that's the problem with the Miraculous is that it doesn't know what it is. Like it can't commit to either one. Like they want to like make the episodes watchable as a standalone, but they also want to have a continuous story and they aren't hitting the right balance and the whole thing is just a jumbled mess.
Right. It's like, and that's where it's problematic. It's like they have a bad problem with continuity and consistency and scale and pretty much everything that would make this an amazing show
And
and
whatever
a
is
very
going on with
good
their development.
consistent series.
So, uh,
Um,
going back to the villains, Mayura. She appears, what, 6 times in the entire season?
I think so, and really not for any other purpose beyond to get sick.
I feel like she was very underplayed, and now that her Miraculous is fixed, I'm really hoping that she becomes a consistent villain in season 4 and an actual threat.
Right, because that's
But
kind of what they led
okay,
the season 2 finale up to.
I'm gonna be the bad person on this and
Yeah,
counteract that.
go for it.
Let me put my zero hat on. Um, so even though
Do not talk about
Mayura,
Ultraman.
well, eventually, but you know, this does remind me of Ultraman. There's a storyline in Ultraman, but
I
okay,
hope he doesn't watch all of this.
Zero,
love
we're
you, Zero.
sorry. We're sorry.
but I mean, as I'm going to give the opposing opinion, Mayura was important in season 3 to show the development of Hawkmoth. It's through her helping him and getting sick that we see the development of Hawkmoth's character. And we find out that Emily had the same symptoms, the same problems, and where she ended up. Also, if it wasn't for Mayura, we wouldn't have had some of the growth with Ladybug and Cat Noir.
Did I say she wasn't important? Because I just meant that
She
her
was
role.
she was
I-
underutilized.
I meant
She
that.
was underused.
I meant
But
that she
I'm
was
saying she wasn't
underused.
because
and
she
that-
fostered the growth.
Okay, but as a villain, as a threat to Ladybug and Cat Noir directly, she was underused and not much of a threat when she did make her appearance.
She did bring the Senti monster back.
But
That food creator.
those didn't
That-
mix up the show as much as I had expected them to. Those
Right,
were
'cause that's
little
what they
more
kind of-
than just the monster of the week, but bigger.
Because I mean that's
But
what they had
I
led
still
us to
say
believe
that
with
she
season 2.
did play a bigger role because she did bring about a lot of the points in what story we did get. We did see more out of the story of Adrian and his father and his father and his wife.
Yes.
And Mayura was the one who spurred all that. So I don't think she was
Her-
underplayed in
her-
this because
her
she's
character
never
arc
been
was
a
great.
standalone villain. She's
She was
never been
under-
a standalone villain. She's always
Right.
been
So-
the sidekick.
So her
So
character arc was
she was-
great. What I'm saying is I don't like how the Senta monsters are utilized, and I hope that, we get better designs for them in season 4.
As a villain, she's underutilized. As a character, she's played
Right.
perfectly.
Her narrative is fine. I'm talking literally as a villain, specifically as a threat to the heroes.
She is damn near none.
She's the Goldar.
No, she's not even Goldar. Goldar was more
She's-
of a threat.
She's the Scorpina.
No, she's Babu and Fin and Squat. Because again, Scorpina
She's
at
the
least did
finster.
damage.
She is the finster.
As long as she doesn't start selling insurance policies, we're good.
What?
So as long as she doesn't start selling insurance policies, we're good.
Did he do that?
No, I was literally making a Kira Major joke.
Oh my god.
You know, literally the most useless villain at the moment.
Oh man.
Literally exists to cash in an insurance policy.
He's the general of the invading army. Like, he literally commands the forces. Garuza is just there to be a dick.
Yeah, but we've not seen him actually do it. All he's gone is, yeah, that's the monster that got sent.
Yeah, no. Like, all the monsters that attack, he's literally like, I'm sending this one out. He's literally choosing to send them out.
They should actually make a show of that a little bit more than just him throwing a fit because Garuza's scary.
They explained it in like 2 different episodes. That's it.
Oh, that kind of must have went right over Hawkmoth's head.
Oh, so speaking of Hawkmoth, we already talked about how he has a great story, how he's a great villain, how we understand him. He is played out, and Season 3 should have been his defeat.
I completely agree. Especially considering the fact that we're now at, 4 villains? Because I'm counting that asshat of a liar, Lila.
She's the human mundane villain, but she doesn't have a role on the show, so...
Yeah, because we now have Hawkmoth, Mayura, and whatever the hell her name is as a villain.
Chloe?
Yeah, like Wasp or whatever.
Queen Wasp.
Yeah. We don't need that many at all.
Or if we're going to have this many villains, can we make them different?
That would be nice too. Let's give them different motivations than I love something. For the love of God, please let it be something different than I love something.
But
because we currently have Hawkmoth with I love my wife, Mayura with I love Gabriel, and then we have Chloe with I love my Miraculous.
I love Adrian. And then Lila is just like, I love the attention.
I love
myself. I love causing problems. So with Chloe, she is also known as Antibug, Queen Wasp, and Miracle Queen.
Those are literally all the villains that she became.
But more specifically, this one she is Queen Wasp. But yeah, we don't need any more villains with roughly the same motivations. For the love of crap, give us something different.
But Thomas Astruc's, one of his goals with the show is to show that there is no such thing as a truly evil person. And I'm real curious how he's going to play off Lila on that one.
I was about to say Lila.
Yeah, I'm real curious what his end game for her storyline is. That will keep me watching this show to the end.
Everybody finds a police report that says she was a battered kid or something. I don't know. They give her the justification for being a selfish narcissist. I don't know. But beyond that, it's like I said, when this show tries, and I mean really tries, the show is fantastic. It has some of them in the course of very small handful, very, very fantastically well-rounded characters who act consistent all the way through. Drops the ball on several characters and pulls the issue of a lot of Sentai shows problems of we don't have time to round out and flesh out every character, so yeah, here's 12 that are going to be one-dimensional and literally serve one purpose. The show could be much better. The show could be much, much better.
I wrote a 16-page document on what changes I would make to the show to make it better.
We are not going to read that tonight.
No. No.
Rai can, if Rai really wants to, he can put that in the comments.
No, I'm not.
Rai can have his own podcast where he
I
discuss that.
I got like I have a lot of free time at work because I'm a janitor. I clean bathrooms, so like I had the time to think about it, and so like I just one day wrote it all down and like yeah.
So hey, Ryan, get
I do the
Minecraft. Let's
same
play
because I
Minecraft
work
and
in a
we'll talk about it.
warehouse.
Okay, I can't listen
But
to.
we overtalked each other. You go.
I said, hey, Rye, download Minecraft. We'll talk about it on stream while playing Minecraft.
Nah, I don't care about Minecraft.
Damn it.
I'll start up a
But I
Stardew.
work in a warehouse.
It's a good game to do like bullshit for like a stream. Or just
But
one
where
to,
I
like,
work in a
bullshit
warehouse, I've thought about all this too. I just haven't wrote it down.
I'll play Stardew with you on stream.
talk. All right, that'll work. That's about as mind numbing. But I think that's a fair point to end this on. I
All
guess.
right.
We're almost 2.5 hours into this.
Yeah, I think I said everything I wanted to. So, thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. Sorry we got so late on this and kept delaying it. Be sure to check out our regularly scheduled programs on Tuesday and Wednesday, where we talk about the weekly episodes of Super Sentai and Kamen Rider. So, thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, everybody, and we will see you back on Tuesday, and then again on Wednesday, and then whenever the next time we have a round table. Thank you all for joining us.
Bye.